So this morning, as I was dropping my son off for camp, he asked me about girls and their periods. He says, what do girls like on their periods? And I started laughing. And I was like, that is very contingent on each individual, because we're not all the same. Now, mind you, he's 11. And we've had this conversation because he came to the bathroom one time and pulled something out. And then he was like, what is this? And I told him before, I was like, this is the proper term, like a sanitary napkin. He was like, well, what is a sanitary napkin? He is the kid that asks all the questions. So I ended up explaining to him about when, girls are on their cycles, these are some of the things that they use. They may use other products, X, Y, and Z. So then after we were talking about that, he asked me, as a kid, did anybody allow you basically to ask all of the questions that I asked? And I was like, no, absolutely not. And what's interesting is yesterday I did a live, and I'm going to post a clip of the live from Wellness Wednesday, where we were dealing with reparenting while parenting. And I told him, being a parent, it is one of the greatest joys, but also one of the biggest challenges that I've ever had in my life. And not a challenge because of you, the child, but a challenge because as an individual, while you cannot be prepared for the load of parenting, there are certain things that will mitigate the load. And I told him, children are expensive, not just financially, but the emotional bandwidth, the physical bandwidth, of course, the financial bandwidth, and sometimes even the spiritual bandwidth. But at a point, you have to release them to God, can be a lot. And going from one person to two is a lot. And then if you have parents that have multiple kids, it can be a lot as well. But it is it's one of the most fulfilling calls that I have, because I get to watch another generation, live. And so he asked me, he says, do you think that, how did he put it? Basically, he was saying, do I think that having a child was a mistake? And I was like, no, I don't. I said, I think the mistake that comes in parenting in general is sometimes we romanticize the idea of having a baby, thinking that the cuteness of that stage is going to take precedent over the rest of our lives. And sometimes if you're not aware of the responsibility just a little bit that is getting ready to be put on you, then you become disconnected in your journey of parenting. And sometimes even when you have an understanding of it, you can still be disconnected, because as an adult, the mentality, everything shifts or should shift when you have a child. And so we kind of just talked about that. But at the end of the conversation, I assured him, I said, but I have great faith that you are going to be a great father and you're going to be a great husband, because ever since this kid was 4 years old, he has talked about being a father and being a husband. And I know that God put that in him. And so I just reassured him that God placed that within you. And so he's going to help for you to become the thing that you did not see in a father, that you didn't receive, because he makes no mistakes. And so I just want to encourage any parent today that is feeling that load of parenting, where it's like, listen, I'm mentally exhausted, I'm physically exhausted, I'm financially drained, tapped out, all of the things. That when you look at your children, when you have those conversations with them, that they are a reminder of I don't want to say the good, but they're a reminder of some of the best parts of us, and even some of the most challenging parts of us. But in that, they are not going to lack anything. They're not going to need for anything as you continue to do what you're supposed to do, and that to do. God is always going to fill in the gap. Have a great day, y'all.